I wanted to talk about how the government was lying about inflation. And here they talk about the 12-month percent change for different price index. So the reported inflation rate right here in red is 1.3%. What this table is showing us is what percent of different categories of persons, for example, are you single, are you married with children, etc. But what percent of their expenditures are going into different categories? So housing, transportation, and food are the three biggest components of expenditures for every single consumer unit. Housing tends to be about a third of everyone's income. Transportation is falling in right between 15 and 20%. And food is, about 1/8, about 12.5% for most categories. Healthcare is also kind of big in there. It's at 8%. And I'm going to go up to table A. What are the average annual expenditures by year? And it shows that in 2019, the average annual expenditures for all people is up 3% total. So if average annual expenditures is up 3%, but inflation is only up 1.3%, something is not jiving here. I think what's happening is the categories where we spend most of our money, aka housing, food, healthcare, are up big. Our expenditures are outpacing inflation. So when the Fed tells you they want to increase the inflation rate, and they want to get inflation not just at 1% or 1.3%, we want an average of 2%. Rest assured that housing, food, healthcare, these categories where you spend the bulk of your money, where I spend the bulk of my money, they're going to go up a lot faster than what we've been seeing. For them to get the inflation rate to 2%, housing may go up 10%, food may go up 20%. I mean, we're already seeing some categories of food up 7%, like meat. Please like and subscribe this content if you find it interesting. I'm all about capitalism, I'm all about sound money. And food was one of the biggest expenditures that people had. That was up 4%. Here is a graph of rent prices. The Consumer Price Index for all urban customers' rent of primary residence in U.S. city average. And I compared August 2020 to August of 2019, and that showed an increase of 3%. I don't know how it's only 3%. My experience had been that, rent has gone up a lot more than 3%. Just a couple years ago, you could rent, a house similar to mine for $1,100, $1,200, and which is what I was doing 4 years ago. Now it's $1,700, so it's gone up like 40% in 4 years. So I don't see how they're getting the 3 to 4%. They might be mixing in a lot of different areas. They might be skewing the numbers in different ways to make it seem less crazy. Medical care services is up 5.3%. So using BLS's data, we've got housing up 3%, food up 4%, medical care up 5%, and here transportation is down 4%. The truth about the transportation services is actually in the details. Motor vehicle maintenance and repair is up 3.2%. Motor vehicle insurance is down 1.5%, but a lot of that is because we aren't driving as much, so insurance companies don't have to charge as much. But really where we're getting such a big negative number is because of airline fares. Airline fares are down 23.2%. So that's skewing the numbers in the negative direction. The vast majority of expenses that people have with respect to their transportation is going to be motor vehicle maintenance and repair, motor vehicle insurance, and gasoline. And I believe gasoline is here and it shows as negative 16.8%. It's very likely that people are spending less money on their cars, but that's not a good thing if you're spending more money on housing, food, and healthcare. I wanted to dive a little more into the food category, but when you dig down into the food at home section, you've got meat, poultry, fish, and eggs is up 7.1%. Dairy is up 5.7%. The thing about the meat actually reminds me of a story of when I went to Ecuador on a vacation. I went with my friend. We went in 2008. And so we went to a restaurant one day, and when he saw that they had steak, he was super excited. And he bought the steak. And they gave him a very small, thin slice of steak. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a piece of meat that was that thin, and served as steak. I mean, it was like you were ordering luncheon meat, at the deli. And so for them, steak and meat is kind of a luxury. And when I see meat going up 7% here in the US, I think, are we turning into a third world country? Are we turning into a poor country where meat becomes a luxury at home? I mean, it's something to think about. It certainly feels that way.